So you should be able to go right now with your PowerPoint.
Okay.
So it's up on,
Yeah.
Okay. You teach face to face.
I just can't get to
Like if you're starting with your online learning, like I never did. You're opening one.
trying to get to that main page. View.
Well, can I just do this?
Oh, sure.
Is that okay? Is this
Yeah,
good?
that's
okay.
fine. Yeah.
Okay. Got it. Got it? Okay. Got it? Okay.
I'm gonna go.
Okay. All right. I think we're ready. We have to get the recording set. So I think we'll go ahead and get started. Otherwise, I won't be able to make it for everything. My name is Michelle Claverie, and I work here at NNU in what's called the Docheo Center. So what I do at the Docheo Center is we work with educators, mainly K-12, and then some faculty on effectively integrating technology into the classroom, into your instruction. I also adjunct a few classes. That's why I thought, hey, let's do this. So we have an instructional model at our center. It's what I base all of my kind of thoughts and theory around integrating technology into the classroom. It's called the HACK model of innovative instruction. And that's where, that's this class. Actually, you'll see a lot of that. This class that I created this for is a class that teaches that. So that's just a little bit about me. And so we're just going to dive in. So the class that I teach is called Innovative Instruction, and there's a lot of content that I felt like my students were, that they needed to learn, but maybe not necessarily needed to be a lecture from me or just straight reading, but some activities that they needed to do. So I just decided to make some learning tracks online. So a learning track is a set of learning activities that students can participate in asynchronously. So they are completing these tracks throughout the class. Some of the tracks coincide with some activities or discussions that happen in the class, but it's all asynchronous. They're doing it on their own throughout the course that coordinates with the class activities. So this class that this is for is a purely online class. So I do not see my students face to face, but we meet online. That's what it's created for. So thinking about this, these are just kind of the ideas that I bring up in my head about selecting content for these learning tracks. Work that can happen asynchronously. So my students can be working on this while we are still learning something else, and it's going to support what we're learning over here, but the completion of this does not affect what's happening here in class. So they're kind of like it's back information that they need to be working through. Might be something that could be like a quick lecture. When I say quick, like 5-minute max lecture on something. And then maybe they do a reading and a video, and so these pieces may work together, something that I can pull together in that way. And the students can complete the activities independently, so there's not a dependence on other classmates or class content. And then content will bring materials to class for activities. So whether that's face-to-face, so they're doing something on these tracks that is then used in an in-class activity, maybe a Socratic seminar, maybe a discussion or a jigsaw activity or something that you might do face-to-face, or they coincide with something that I have the class do online. So I am just going to pop over now and let's see if I can do this without messing up what we got set up over here. All right. Okay. So the whole premise of this section here is I'm showing you what I call hacker tracks. These are my learning tracks that I did for the class. I have 5 different platforms or apps that I use to make them. And then you can kind of see like, oh, maybe I could use that platform, or maybe I could use this in my class. Just sharing an idea of something that students have really responded well to. They really enjoy this. So first let me just show you the website. Are there any questions before I keep going? Good? Okay. So this was used, and I'll show it to you. It's Google Sites. That's what I used to make the learning tracks. I call them hacker tracks because the class is about the hack model. Just trying to be a little clever there. Number one thing when creating either learning tracks or maybe an online course is putting information in multiple places. Someone told me that a couple years ago. A presenter came to campus and she said, I put information in all the places where I think like I might click there, because you're going to have students who will just click in one spot and they'll never see the 4 other places you put it, but they got it in that one location, especially if you're teaching online and you're not face-to-face to quickly answer those questions. So I just have a little welcome page. On the welcome page, I made a little video. This is using an application called Powtoons, which I'll talk about in the 30 and 50 session. But this little video just kind of is an overview of the hacker tracks. You might be wondering, what is it? We're not going to listen to it because it's going to reverberate. But so I made a little video that kind of explained the whole website. So I tell them that these are hacker tracks. You are going to work through 5 different tracks throughout this course. They all have due dates. You can see the due dates in the syllabus. You can see them on the track. I tell them that once they complete each track, they'll fill out a Google form, and that's how they'll go and grade it. So I just gave them a general overview. And then, so these are the tracks that I have for the class. These are all linked down here, and then they're also linked up here. So here's the first one. So I tell them what the track is at the top. So this track will take you through the components of blended learning. By the end of this track, you should have developed an understanding of what blended learning is and how you might implement this type of instruction. So I give them an estimated total track time. So I say this will take you about 55 minutes. This will take you about 40, 30, whatever it may be, an hour and a half. And then this is where I've used these different platforms to integrate activities. So the first activity here is they'll watch an Ed Puzzle video, which I will explain in a second. The second activity is they're going to read from a textbook called Blended, and then this will connect back to a discussion board that they're going to do in week 6. So that's kind of all explained for them in there. Then activity 3 is they're going to go through. All these videos are super short. They're between, I don't think anything's over 2 minutes here, about the different types of blended learning that you can have in your classroom, and they're all Ed Puzzle videos. And then every track ends with what I call learning reflection, and this is a Google form. Has anyone used Google Forms before? I'll also go over that today. But this is how I get the students' work. Okay, because they're completing these outside of my LMS, outside of Canvas, outside of Blackboard. I get to know that they're done with the blended learning track is when they fill out this reflection form here and they hit submit. And then it gives me a little email. It says so-and-so has completed the blended learning form. And then I know, oh, I can go in there and grade it. Typically what happens is with grading, I always think like, I'll get that done early. No, it's usually when it's a due date, and then I go grade them all at the same time. But so start of the course, sometimes you can be really impressive. But in Google Forms, it does a really nice job of just you can click through all of the forms, and so you can see your students' responses. So I just pull up 2 screens. I look at the form, and I have my grade book, and I just go through and grade. So all the tracks kind of look something similar to this. I tell them what you're going to learn, how long it's going to take you, and then I have the activities pretty clearly labeled, and I try to give enough direction to where I'm not getting emails and questions about what am I supposed to do here, or where do I click, especially if I take them to an external website where they have to enter a code, try to highlight it, make it bolded and big, but just so they can see that. So this one has another platform that I'm going to show you, which is called Padlet. So I try to make it so it's not the same exact thing on every track, so it stays interesting for the students. But also, the cool thing about this is they are working on this asynchronously. But when they go to this Padlet, and my old class may still be on here, they will see everyone else in their class's responses, because this is a live updating board that they're going to. So even though like Tony may have done this track in week 1 and maybe Paul did it in week 5, they're still talking with each other about the content because of the platforms that I've chosen for them to work on. And I'll show you that platform here in a second. Some readings. There's a lot of Ed Puzzle videos. This is, again, is Padlet. It's a great connector and collaboration platform. And then it ends with the reflection form. I just want to see if some of these might have some different platforms. The cool thing about using Google Sites, it's very friendly. So you can, I feel like I look really impressive. I have like videos and links. Google Sites is spot on. It will just walk you through all of those things, and I'll show you some of them here. You can embed PDFs right in there. So students can just read directly from here, or they can print it off if they want to. Same type of thing here. This is a Padlet where they're going to be able to collaborate about the information that they read about on this. Kind of show you what that looks like. And then Recap is another platform that I will show you. It is another collaboration place for students to come as they are working asynchronously. So even though they're working on these on their own, there's still elements of collaboration within there. I'm going to hit that login real quick. Okay. All right. And then a form at the end. So you guys kind of see it's activities clearly labeled. They know what they're doing. There's a time expectation. Got a lot of students who really appreciated that time expectation because especially if they're online students, they're fitting this in within their work and their family schedule and all that. So they said, I really appreciated that flexibility of knowing like, I know I need to get this done for this week and this track is 40 minutes and I could sit down and finish it right now. So that piece they really did like. And okay. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of show you the platforms that I use to create this. This might be, so this is what I live, eat, and breathe, and I do all day long, or platforms and learning tools. So this might be like the advanced website, but you could make a Google Sites and you can make one or two of these. And it's really not as scary as it looks to use these, I promise. So the first platform that I am going to show you, and I say the word platform, I'm a big believer that if you were in that last section over there, I'm a big believer in using technology in the classroom and using it for instructional purposes. When I say the word app, if from a kindergartner to a junior in college, they think game. If I use the word platform, I'm changing the language there, and it's an educational tool. This is a platform that we are going to show something with.
Instead of changing the word module to track.
So yeah, right. So just semantics, right? But it's that language that shifts instruction, right? It's going to shift what your students are going to think of. Okay, so the first one I'm going to show you is Google Sites. If you have Gmail, most schools are Google-based. So if you are, there's your little icon here in the top right corner. This will take you to all of your Google icons, all of your Google apps. And they have sites. Google Sites used to be really clunky and old. And these are previous Google Sites that my students have created, and it was not user-friendly at all. I would never show it to you. But the new one is amazing. So to get to the new one, it still pulls up the old one. There's a little button right here that says New Google Sites. If you've used anything like Slides, Docs, any Google-based platform, they've integrated all of those features into Sites to make it really easy for you to build a website. So I also have students in my class, they all make portfolios in a Google site, and they turn that into me for their course project. So this plus button here on the bottom is how you start creating with Google Sites. And I'm just going to show you some of the features just so you can see. This is your toolbar over here. This is going to have everything you need. So text box, so to enter text, images, put a YouTube video in there. You can just click that button and paste in the link. I'll show that to you. You can upload your own videos or photos or documents. You can insert files directly from your Google Drive. You can click on that and it'll take you to your Google Drive and you can click it and it goes right there on the page. And you can resize it to however you want. You can put in YouTube videos, calendar, parts in there, maps, doc slide sheets, all of those right there. So, and it's when I click on it, I just clicked and it popped it over and then I can start typing. I can change, you can change text, you can change where you want it. If you want to hyperlink it to something, this little chain link guy, whenever you see it, that's a hyperlink. So I could link it to a website or I could link it to another page here on this site. Let me show you the Drive feature. So when I click on Google Drive, it will take you to another spot. It will take you to another spot. Yes, yeah. Yeah, so like right here, this is linked. So when I click on blended learning, it takes me to that track. Yeah. So you can link within the website or out of the website. Okay. You can choose the box to make it. I always open a new window. It just makes it a little bit easier. Yeah. Yeah. You can add pages. So right over here, it says insert pages themes. So I can add another page to my website by just clicking on that and clicking the plus button here. So those were my learning tracks. The different pages. And then you can click on those and add in documents and whatever it might be that you want. You can change themes. You know, you can personalize it and make it however you like. You can do those things as well. When you are done creating your site, you just hit this publish button and it makes it available on the web. The little eye icon makes it so you can preview it. But then once you publish it, your students can just access it. So I put that link inside my Canvas shell, which is like Blackboard, and they can just go on there and click on it and get to the website. Yep.
This is really interesting. Can you help me understand what the advantages are of creating these resources on Google Sites, for instance, as opposed to just including them as content that's already in your LMS?
Like within Canvas?
Right.
Well, with Canvas, you can make modules and you can add pages. This is more, I would say this has more interactive elements. So it's very easy for me to embed a video that I want in there, a PDF that I want in there, and then a link to another website for them to collaborate on a Padlet. This just user flexibility. So for me, and I think for my students. In Canvas, it's hard to break away from just like module 1, page.
It
Module
seems
2.
like it's less linear.
Yeah.
Than what Canvas
Yes,
is.
Canvas is very linear.
So they can work on any of these projects.
Yeah.
In the time
Yeah.
they wanted rather than.
And each one of these pages, each one of these tracks inside Canvas has an assignment in Canvas, this blended learning track. And then that's where I input the grade.
I guess one of my questions from an administrative
Yeah.
point of view is, now you have other content that's graded, it's in another place, but if there are challenges, the student comes back and says, well, my grade on this, I did this, but there's no way I can, as an administrator, can find that because I don't have access to this other site that you own necessarily. That's what I was kind of wondering.
Yeah, well, it would be really easy for the instructor. So every platform that I've used with this has some sort of like accountability where it shows me if the student watched the video, if they posted, if they clicked here, if they turned in the reflection link. So it would be easy to go back and see if that student actually did it. But I guess from an admin perspective, you couldn't click into your teacher's Puzzle account. No.
Transfer all of that into Blackboard and pleasure you just to link it all together.
To transfer all of this into Blackboard, I wouldn't. I think it comes back to the same thing as Blackboard and Canvas are pretty linear. to get my students to this, I just put the link. Yeah. Yeah, I just put a link, yeah.
You can't basically bring results from this.
No, it's hard to get platforms to speak to each other like that. Well, I know, right? I know, but you'd have to create it for each individual one. Like we are in Socrative, you know, the last one, and he's trying to get it to speak to Blackboard, and I don't think it ever will.
Excel.
Yes. Yep.
From that.
Yeah, if you could do that, yeah. And which forms downloads to an Excel? It does downloads to that, but you still have to input the grade there. So yeah, that's a good question. Okay, so let me show you these tools that are inside of here, and keep asking questions as we're going. Fantastic. So this first one that I'm going to show you is called Recap, and I want to show you where I placed it inside the activity, and then you can kind of see what I did with it here. So we just got to find it real quick. Maybe it wasn't flipped. Okay, so this was at the end of the third activity in this track, and I've inserted this recap activity for the students. So this is going to be an external website, a tool that you can use within your instruction. Recap is basically what the title suggests. It's meant for your students to recap the lesson to you, but it's only in video format. I like that because it pushes students out of their comfort zones a little bit, and especially because I work with educators, I need the teachers to be a little uncomfortable so then they can push their students to be uncomfortable, right? And so what it looks like, let's see, I'm going to show you the demo class. So these are going to be little kids, but I have adults using this, okay? Just so I don't show you their faces and all of that. So what it is you will, in here you have a queue, and you can add a question, you can add whatever it is. This question here says, what's your favorite story and what's the best part? So students log into Recap. Favorite story. And so it's going, I'm not going to give you the sound because it's going to reverberate, but I think she has 20 seconds to record her answer to what was your favorite part of the story. She recaps that. It's a formative assessment at the end of a lesson. And then it has 3 questions stacked on top of each other. So as the teacher, I can go in here and I can listen and I can leave her a comment. I can say, wow, she really understands, or wow, you need to go talk with her and work with her on something. And then I can just input that grade. You can input your grades in here, but again, it doesn't speak. So I just bypass that step and I go straight to Canvas. Yes? Is Recap part of Google? It's integrated with Google Classroom. So I feel like a lot of higher ed institutions don't use Google Classroom. I'm just looking. I feel like it's Canvas or Blackboard or something like that. But a lot of K-12 schools use Google Classroom. So a lot of these platforms have this integrated feature there. So you can you house questions in there, and you get this little join pin. And that's what I put inside the website. I say, click here, go to Recap. And then this is one of those moments where I bold in really big font and I say, enter this class code. Because if they don't enter the class code, I do not get their video. And then they get upset with me when they have to re-record it, but re-record it. And then this is one of those features where this accountability, I can go back in and I watch everyone's. For me as an online instructor, I love this video feature because I get to know my students. Otherwise, it's just discussion board writing, and you can get to know them through there, but it's not the same as a video. And it's a little more intimate. It's one-on-one rather than a class meeting or something like that. So I really do like this feature in that aspect of getting to know my students.
Michelle, is Recap a free resource?
It's free. I'm sure it's limited. I have not hit the limit though. So there's 71 people who have posted to that recap right here in the middle, and I have not hit the limit on that. Maybe one day I'll get the email. Perfect. So that's Recap. All right, the next one I'm going to show you, this is probably my favorite platform of all times. It is called Ed Puzzle, and it is all throughout all of these tracks. So here's an Ed Puzzle right here, and then I think all of these are Ed Puzzle videos. I've stopped just showing a YouTube video or just showing maybe if I have like a lecture or something I want to give out, I always upload it to Ed Puzzle because you can see who has watched the video and who hasn't. You can prevent skipping. So you can prevent people from just skipping forward to then answering the questions. But also I think this is such a cool feature is you can embed questions and voice recording over the videos. So let me show you how this works. This is my Ed Puzzle account. And so I have a few different classes over here and I've been playing around with some testings. And then these are all the videos that are inside the Hacker Tracks. If I'm going to hit this little button up at the top, this is my content. So these are not all my videos, but these are videos that I can pull from or use. And I just hit this little button up here that says create. So I can upload a video, my own video that I have. I can pull a video from YouTube. I can pull a video from a lot of places. Let me show you. It speaks with Khan Academy, it speaks with TED Talks, National Geographic. It speaks with all of these. And so what happens is, let's say I click on YouTube, and this is a video that I want to use. I know it, so I hit use. I watched it. No, I haven't. This is such a cool feature. So let's say the video is 10 minutes long and you only really want this like 5-minute portion. You just write in here, you can edit it down. And I just made that video. Now they just watch it from 42 seconds to 2 minutes and 20 seconds, just like that. So that's a really cool feature because sometimes we don't want all of the video. And then I'm going to move up. Here's my editing bar. So I'm on crop. Then this is an audio track. So so some of the videos that I have, I've recorded the beginning part of it. And I say, I want you to watch this video. And as you're watching, I want you to look for this and listen for this specific part. Because it's going to play into the activities in the rest of this track. So before they're going to hit play, and the video will, and then it will be my voice that they listen to. And then my voice will go away and the video will just keep playing. If you want to add in notes throughout the video, so maybe you have an 8-minute video and about 5 minutes in, you want them to know something. You can click anywhere on this bar, and I just click right here, and it's recording everything that I'm saying, and then I just hit stop, and then when my students get to this point, we'll pause the video, and then they'll hear me talking in the video. And then the last editing feature is you can add questions. So you can add questions throughout the video or at the end, wherever you might want them. So maybe I want a question here. I'm going to hit the little question button, and then it gives me 3 different types of questions I can give. So I can just have an open-ended question. It's a question for them to answer. Or I can have a multiple choice question, and it will grade it for you. So that will be graded for you. Or I can have, I can ask them to leave a comment throughout this part of the video. And then once I have everything in there that I want, I hit finish. And then if I have my students join my Ed Puzzle account, so then I can just click what classes I want it on. So I'll send it to my test group. This is the feature that I love. This prevents skipping. Prevent them from skipping ahead. I can add a due date to the video so they can have access it until this date, and then after that date, that was the due date. Okay, and then or you can do all of that later, whatever you would like. So then what you get back is you get all of your students. You get everything. So I can go through. So you see all these ones with the X's. They either started it and they were not logged in yet and they realized, and a lot of them do catch it, but I always have 2 or 3 students that do not actually put in the class code, and then they have to go back through and rewatch the videos. But I can go through and I can see I can see all of their answers. It tells me how many times they watched it. So he watched it once, all the way through. If you watched it 4 times, it would be red for me right there. That's really great data for you formatively to know, man, my students did not understand this math concept. I need to go back and reteach it. Or this nursing terminology, I need to go back. That's really great formative data. So that's Edpuzzle. I love it. It's amazing. That's all I'm going to say. I was thinking I was going to say something else, but I'm not going to.
Sure.
Yeah.
Your puzzle account.
Yeah.
You have to subscribe.
You just create an account. It's free. And I also have not hit a limit on this account. I have a lot of videos on here too.
Where I can access that
It-
from Google?
No, it's not from Google. Yeah.
See.
Yeah. But it does, again, have that Google Classroom integration. But
Can you link to this straight from Canvas or Blackboard?
it will take them outside of Canvas or Blackboard.
You could, but say you were just going to use this one tool
Right.
for videos.
Yeah.
You could link to it. They still have to put in the code.
Code. Yeah. Just put in the code.
But
Otherwise,
then everything
we will
has to
collect
be
it.
in.
Yeah.
It's not like the video is standalone
No.
that you could
Yeah.
import in.
Yeah. You could, if you just want them to watch it and you don't care, you don't want to look at their answers or anything, they can just watch it and answer all those questions and do whatever.
You just wouldn't be able to track it.
Right. Yeah, if they didn't log in.
What generates the code?
Oh, it will give you one. So,
It generates within the system.
yeah, and it doesn't change. So, I can show you here.
What if I want to use the same puzzle for 3 different classes that are teaching the same class? They all be integrated in the same class, or I have to develop different puzzle.
Yeah, I would say you if they go to the same video, it's all going to be in the same class. So if you want like period 1, period 2, period 3, maybe copy them and assign it to those 3 classes. That's probably what I would do. I'm trying to remember where the little code is. It's always in different spots on every. I'm not seeing it, but I know it's there.
Yeah.
I know. Oh, I do see. I know it is one. So like because the code is always this letter combination for all of these videos. I just can't remember where it's at. I'll look and see if I can point it out to you. Okay, so that's Edpuzzle. The next platform that I use quite a bit throughout these is called Padlet. That's the one that allows, so they're working on these independently on their own, but it gives some of that collaboration piece. Padlet's awesome to use within your instruction. If you have a lecture and you want students to maybe give some input or something, this is a great platform for that. So you can kind of think of Padlet as a giant virtual bulletin board, really, is really what it is. And you can post text, videos, pictures. You can comment on each other's posts. It's pretty awesome. So to create a Padlet is super simple. So this is just Padlet.com. And I just hit this button that says make a Padlet. There are different formats. The content can come up in a wall, so brick-like canvas. They can be scattered. Stream is like a Facebook feed. Grid, it will just snap them into grids. You can make shelves, which are going to be columns. It's kind of a nice feature if you need them organized in different columns. And then they have this back channel feature, which is if you're having maybe like a Socratic seminar and your outer circle is having a back channel conversation, you could use Padlet for this. So I'm just going to click on wall so you can just see. Really, all they require you to do is just put a title on it, and then you can change students' access to it. So you can say those with access can write. There's maybe the option. You can say those with access can write, can just read it only, or can moderate, can approve posts. I typically keep it on can write when I'm working with adults. With college students, I would also keep it on PNY, but I would have a digital citizenship conversation before that, because you're always going to have a student that might post something inappropriate. Okay, but that comes back to teaching your students how to operate in this world that has technology, has these features. So, because the reason why I say that is because to add to the Padlet, oopsies, click the wrong button. All people have to do is I double click and a box pops up. Okay, and so if I just share this link out to you guys can click on there and you can type whatever you want, and I wouldn't know who posted it unless you write your name on there. Okay, so I teach the routine. You write your name on the top, and then you say whatever it is that you need to say here. Okay. Also in this bubble, or this little Padlet post here, they can upload a picture. Okay. They can add a link to a website, so maybe to a video or a page. You want them bringing in resources. They can go on Google. Oh, look, Google Michelle. That's funny. And then also you can add a picture of this right here. The other feature, again, that I really like, when I click on wherever you see 3 little dots, that always tells you more underneath there. It's another menu. I'm just going to show you this one right here is film. So I love using this feature. I can pose a question, and part of their post is to record their answer on here. So they just hit record, and then their video will pop up here, and then everyone can watch each other and comment back and forth to each other. Padlet. There are more features, and as you play around with it, you start to learn them. But it is a great audience participation platform. But then I love using it in the tracks because it gets some collaboration pieces in there. All right. The last one I have to show you for this is a platform called Adobe Spark. Has anyone ever used Adobe Spark before? Has anyone ever used Adobe? So this is their educational suite, and they have three kind of platforms inside of this one. It's like a bang for your buck platform. That's what I like it. So inside of here, and this is a student production platform. So students can create with Adobe Spark. When I hit this plus button, they can either make a post, a page, or a video. And I will just kind of show you these real quick. A post is, it's just going to be an image. So just a picture. You can start from scratch, or they have templates you can start with. The activity that I have on the Hacker Track is they make a mnemonic for the word grit using Adobe Post. But it's just going to be a JPEG picture. So you can add text on top, photos on top, and you can change colors and things. And so it's just to make an image in this way. So that's one feature of Adobe Spark. Second to the The next two I use more than I use Post. Adobe Page. So if you have students creating, or you want them to create a portfolio or a presentation or something, Adobe Page is a great place to go. What it will make is it makes almost like a what's the word I'm looking for? It's almost like a website, but it is very visually pleasing. It's let's see if I can pull up one here. Let's see. I don't know if that's going to take me where I want to go. I'm looking for their gallery. Hold on. Got a few minutes. I'm gonna. No. Okay. Well, I will just show you on here. It's not going to be super pretty. But essentially, I'm just scrolling with my mouse, and you can add in text, videos, and pictures, and it really creates a very well done product for students to create something that's not just another PowerPoint presentation or another Prezi. It pushes them to kind of step out of some areas, and it creates something different. Yeah.
Free for educators.
Yes. Yeah. I love this platform. I wish I had one to show you. The last one is my favorite feature on Adobe Spark, and it's called Adobe Spark Video. And when you make an Adobe Spark video, you get to the end and you're like, wow, I'm amazing. I just did that. Because it really makes you feel very impressive. But it's because they set it up to be a very nice fluid product. So what it is, it's basically, it's a simple video editing system. But why I like this for student product and creation is so they can add, you can add text, icon, you can search right inside of here and it will find whatever. I just click on it, we'll put it in the middle. I can hit this little red button right here, and it will record everything that I am saying. And then I just let go of it, and then it stops. And then it holds that recording just on that slide. And then if you look down here at the bottom, I have this little moving out thing that's kind of blocking it a little bit. But if you hit this plus button, it gives you another slide. But that audio stays here. So what's nice about that is when with typical video editing, so if you maybe have students use iMovie or something like that, they get 15 minutes in or 15 slides in, and they mess up or they have to add something. And to edit that, it takes some skill, right? So then it's kind of distracting from the learning that we're trying to do here. And so it's awesome that the video just stays right on that slide. So it doesn't go anywhere else, just right here. So if I mess up on slide 15, I just redo slide 15. I don't have to worry about the 14 in front of it. Yeah.
Can you embed links from here into Blackboard?
Embed this? Yeah, yes. You can, when you're all done, you can hit the share button and then that's a category, and then you just hit create link, and then you can just link it right in. Yeah. This is another one that's really good for pushing students outside of their comfort zone a little bit. And also teachers, the more you record yourself, the more used to it you get. That's what I tell my students. And so and also I get to know them more when it's online. So that's Adobe Video. In Adobe Video? Yeah.
Adobe Spark.
Yeah. So you could
Clip out up to smaller.
Oh,
Shrink
no.
it, shrink it, transpose that.
No, you can't put a YouTube video inside of here. This is all you creating this video. Yeah. I see what you're saying. No. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So that was a lot of platforms, a lot of information. Just looking at this, thinking about the class that you teach, are there some hostile content areas or things that you could turn into attract that students could learn kind of on their own and come back to their whole class? Just kind of reflect and think about that. Or do you see a way that you could use one of these platforms even if it's not an attract just in your instruction? Yeah.
Started this out by referring to the hack model.
Yeah.
Is something, or were we just supposed to know what you were talking about?
I was just kind of giving a little background information.
What, I don't, what?
Yeah, okay, so what the hack model is, and I'll pull it up here on the website. It's an instructional model that helps you integrate technology into the classroom. So it gives you a systematic approach to using these tools within your instruction. in a way that it's not overwhelming, but what we're working towards is moving from a teacher-centered classroom to a very student-centered classroom. So we start by just integrating different platforms, and then we move into integrating choice into the classroom, so choice for students to complete their assignments. And it's more than just like a tic-tac-toe or like pick this or this. We're talking about student demonstration of understanding and passing along the metacognitive process that happens inside of our heads when we make a choice to our students. And then moving into this, what we call the consistent application classroom, where we're using these platforms just like we do pen and paper. It's a seamless part of the classroom, it's a tool, and then we push into knowledge-centered, which is project-based learning, and really getting students learning around a project or an inquiry piece or diving deeply into that. So that's what all these hacker tracks, this is kind of that background information for these two phases of the hack model. That's kind of where I pulled that information from, but yeah. Awesome. Well, it is time, so thank you for listening, and I'll see you guys around. Okay, sorry. Is it on this one now?
Yeah.
Yes. We have to go back this way. Okay, right? Oh, that, we need to change the recording. So is this, are we finished with this one? PowerPoint?
Yeah, that's not the PowerPoint, that's the Google Hangout.
Okay, so I can close this?
Mhm.
Okay. And then I need to go to 10 o'clock. Need to go back.
Give it time.
Yes, yeah, we're fine with a slow phase out.
Yes, I think that.
So I gotta tell you,
This is why I came.